What's up, everybody? Good morning. We got some action today, ladies and gentlemen. Morning, Squid. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, Jesse. Morning, Burger. Thank you, Griffin. Appreciate that. Good morning. Hey, Spartan Tom. We got a downtrend, ladies and gentlemen. I like the rhyme, Jesse. Feels like some ancient wisdom that we all must heed. So just keeping track of our levels that we already had on our chart. Does look like this gap is going to be filled. We can take that off of our chart, and I think we still do we still have that like June gap? Doesn't look like it. Let's go check that one out. That's where we may be heading. This gap from June that has been on the chart for a long time. It's a little ways down there. Still could get there. And then of course we still have the gap above that never got filled either. Hey Jeff, good morning. We could get a nice short here if we pull back well. If anyone was trading last night, there was a great short set up right here. Nice second entry. Could have even waited for the lower high. Lots of good ways to get in on this. Yeah, we do have news this morning at 9:45. So that should be something to be cautious about. It's going to be 15 minutes after the open. Got some Canadian news. Of course, the denim tariff and the maple syrup tax they're looking to pass. I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And then PMI, services and manufacturing. Morning, Diego. See what's up on the old Nas. Hanging right around Friday's low. Let's find that June gap on Nasdaq chart too. There we go, and we are pretty dang close to that gap. Hey Sean, good morning. Welcome. First time, that is awesome. You're gonna enjoy your time here. This is a good group, positive chat, no trolls. We don't stand for trolls around here. Yeah, welcome. Jesse, thank you for the Canadian news. It appears that tax cuts, if rates do drop, then Canadians will be reminded they're the greatest nation in Canada, therefore the world. Good, we all need that reminder. Thank you, Jesse. Alright, so this downtrend on the Nasdaq, to me, before I even draw it, looks better than the S&P. Let's see. Oh yeah, that is pretty solid. Let's see what sets up here. We're right at that EMA coming up on the channel line. Hoping that a short sets up for us. Obio, welcome. Glad to have you here as well. All that information you can find. There's a link in the description. You can get there in multiple ways, but if you go to join the team in the description, you can see all that info. Your EMA isn't matching. Are you on the Nasdaq here, Burger? I'll reload my chart here in a second too. Well, this is the Nasdaq, so if you're not on the Nasdaq, that's why that's why the EMA wouldn't match. Mark, this ATM strategy, this is actually the one I use for the news trade on my YouTube channel, so good reminder, I don't actually want that selected. I want something different. Chart says S&P. Oh, I see. Hold on. Should not be the case. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to reload the charts just in case my data's all messed up. And watch out for the lag today. When I opened up my charts, I had a lot of lag. I had to sync my clock and sync Rhythmic's clock and restart everything, so that can be a problem too if you have a lot of lag going on. Things are not going to match up. Mike, I do trade pre-market. As I mentioned, I'm looking for a setup on the Nasdaq currently, so if that happens, I'll be taking it, and it is currently pre-market. But yeah, I'm on Pacific time, Pacific Standard Time, so yeah, it's 6 a.m. where I am, so I don't get up too much earlier than this. It's about as early as I go pre-market. It's about 6 a.m. Sometimes I'll get up for the news release at 5:30. But yeah, I like sleep. I like sleep. Watching to see if this bar reverses into a bearish bar. It's happening on the S&P too. Yeah, it's a pretty decent bar here. I'm gonna go for it. And we'll see. I might cut the trade short if we get too close to the open. But we're in this thing. I'd take it on the ES2, I just wasn't quick enough. Yeah, we have 5 minutes till the open now, so if this doesn't go straight to target, again, I might cut this early. We'll see. Looks pretty good on the Nasdaq or on the S&P too, like I said. Oh shoot, I have the wrong account on here. Dang, I'm actually going to get out of this and try to change accounts here, see if I can re-enter. Yeah, with this bar I might not re-enter, and we only have a couple minutes before the open, so might hold off. Let's see. Well, you know what? My risk is super small now, so let's take another whack at this. It is a big response for sure. But now I have a better entry, and now I'm on the right account, so that's good. If we don't immediately turn down, I'll look to scratch out. Alright, with how close we are to the open, I'm going to tighten up my risk here, so really don't have much risk on the trade. A little higher, actually. I have about a minute and a half to open. The S&P is starting to work above the EMA a little bit. Yeah, hopefully this can go down. I'm gonna try to scratch out. A little too close to the open. We can easily get a burst up. Come on, buddy. Decent close, yeah. This ain't bad. Just could get a little volatile here in about 20 seconds, so wish I could hold this with my original stop. I think it's probably wiser just to take the scratch if it gets there. May work out, but I don't want to hold through the open. If we get a lower high though, I can take that for sure. Same on the S&P. If we get a nice lower high, I'll take that. S&P is working higher. Close above the EMA. Not great. S&P is still above the EMA. I do like the weakness on the Nasdaq though. You know, if we can get one little lower high here, I'm gonna be all about it. Some choppy action here. Tiny little bar closed above the EMA. Can't take that one. See how this bar closes. It's got a decent chance. S&P is now dropping down below the EMA. That's helpful. Got to get through all that consolidation, and this thing should drop right down to a new low. Nice, there we go. Come on, baby. A little bit more. A little bit more. Let's go, let's go. So dang close. A couple points away. Cool. We'll lock in the gains and we'll start trailing it. All right. Took profit there. Nice little trade to start the morning. Cool, Toad. Glad you got it as well. Nice way to start the day indeed. It might still keep going down here, but right off the open like this, yeah, I wasn't going to give it too much room. Morning, Berta. Cool. And like I said, not surprising that it keeps dropping here, but in order to play this, I would have had to have my stop way up, like a break even, and I didn't really want to take a break even on something like that. Yeah, right off the open, very easily you can have, you know, the move down gets to a new low, and then all of a sudden we get a huge bounce. So huge short covering bounce. But the setup was golden. The setup was golden for sure. And price action playing out too. So that's always a great sign. Good looking downtrend, break, we expect a new low, and there it is. Over on the S&P, did not really have a clean setup to take that. The only entry would have been this lower high here, but that's pretty sketch. It's a tiny, I mean, it is a tiny bar, so you'd have small risk. That is a good thing about it, but it's tiny. It's above the EMA. So far, everything had been working up. Every little dip was getting bought, so it is a lower high though, and with the weakness in the Nasdaq, you might have considered jumping in on that. Hey, morning, Thiago. But yeah, anyway, if you caught that trade or just liked watching, click that like button. We got like almost 50 people in here, only 19 likes. Let's go, baby. Let's feed the algorithm this morning. Now the hard part here is not looking in the rear view. It'd be very easy for me to go, oh man, I should have held here, and then this would have been, you know, and then start doing the math. Oh man, this would have been like $3,000. Ah, that sucks. You can't do that. You can't do that. Don't let hindsight bias crowd your decisions, because what if this would have gone, you know, maybe I was trying to hold for a larger move and this did just end up bouncing straight up and either stopped me out of break even or took a small loss. How would I feel then? I would have been like, man, I should have taken profit at the low. So yeah, don't let how a trade would have worked out be the determining factor in what your decision should have been. The decision is based on what happens previously. And so, given all the information I had, I still think the right choice was to trail kind of tightly at the low and take gains when I did. Jeff, yeah, we mentioned it briefly, but it's always helpful to mention again. We do have news here in about 7 minutes, so be flat for that. Nasdaq looks like it might want to fill this gap down here. Pretty dang close to it. 40 points away from that gap fill from June. The June gap fill. And S&P not looking as weak. It's kind of holding up strongly here, actually. And we have miles before that gap fill. We still have like 88 S&P points before the gap fill, so I don't know how realistic that is. S&P looks like it wants to start forming a base or something. Yeah, we might consider the secondary channel on ES. I think it's gonna fit a little bit better. $88 S&P points is like 33,000 NQ points. Yeah, it's something like that. It's a lot. 88 points is a lot. All right, we're starting to get a bit of a bounce here on the Nasdaq. I also do want to make sure that we have the correct Nasdaq channel. Don't think there's another way to draw this. Maybe, no, I think we have the correct channel. Now, if it just keeps going down, we'll have to get creative, but as of right now, it looks like we might be, this trend might be played out for the time being. We might be due for a correction, but I am only considering shorts today so far, guys. I hope that's obvious why. Very clear bearish trend. We are not looking for reversals, not looking for longs. We're just looking for opportunities to short the market. We got news in 4 minutes though, and that can really shake everything up. Market still going down. We can't really look for a short here, unfortunately, though, with the pending news in 2 minutes. Toad going long because he believes in Canada. Now, that's a new strategy, Toad. I've never seen that one before. We'll see. I hope that works out. I hope the believe in Canada trade is a viable play. .25% rate drop for y'all Canadians. That's excellent. Good for you guys. But that was exactly what was forecasted, so that's why we're not seeing a big reaction. Manufacturing came in a little lower than forecasted, but services came in a little higher than forecasted, so net, nothing. All right. Cool, Tiago. I'm glad to hear that you've been finding success with that eval passing strategy. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Now the real work begins, right? Of trying to get a funded account across the finish line. Alright, folks. Well, the news has settled down. We are still in a downtrend. So I am still considering shorts. And I changed my channel around a little bit on the Nasdaq. It seems like it's still in play. We're not getting a bounce yet. I'm holding that loosely. If we start getting a bounce, I will probably be treating it as it is played out, but we'll see. The ES is still obviously has not broken its channel yet, so that's why I'm kind of switching between the two. A YouTuber who hooked up his heart monitor and plays it back 5 times the speed. What? What? I don't even understand that. Whilst trading, huh? That's very interesting. I don't know if I'd want to do that. It would make I'd make myself nervous. My heart rate started to go up. I'd be like, oh man, my heart rate's going up, and then I'd get more nervous and my heart rate would go up. But maybe it's helpful for some people. I mean, the goal obviously is to try to be calm and relaxed while you're entering trades, while you're in trades. So I might be interested in that for my personal practice, but probably not live on YouTube. Jesse. Apple Watch thought you were dying while you were trading. Yeah, that's not a good sign, my friend. Hopefully it's not that bad anymore. You have a second entry short on the Nasdaq. I don't like the risk to reward here, and we're pretty consolidated, so not a setup I'm going to take. But technically, it's the right setup as first entry right here, second entry right here. Beat after risk. 24 points to make 16. Not great. Not great. Looking better on the S&P. Downtrend still unbroken. Just need that pullback. Jesse asking, do I use Stream Deck for the drawing tool hotkeys? I don't actually. The drawing tools, I have keyboard shortcuts though. I do use Stream Deck though for like switching between the S&P and the Nasdaq charts. And I actually have in the past set up hotkeys on Stream Deck for the drawing tools, but then like that got wiped out and I haven't reset them up, so I have the hotkeys memorized pretty well. You can do hotkeys for the price action toolbar. Yeah, it's just like regular hotkeys in NinjaTrader. Once you load the price action toolbar, all those should show up in the options if you go to NinjaTrader and try to customize your hotkeys. Hotkeys are the way to go, man. Which actually reminds me, that's a project I need to do. Set up more hotkeys. Sometimes I do a little too much clicking. How do I get the chart to float? Whoa, dude, I don't even know. I don't even know what that means. You can explain what you mean by that. I would love to hear it. All right, it is about time to take some vitamins, drink some water for the day. Your health is super connected to your trading. So if y'all don't have a good workout plan or a good, water plan, do it. It will make a huge difference in your ability to perform. And trading it's a performance sport. Hey, AOD. Good morning. Your chart is small, you can't move it around to have the action in the middle. You just click and drag, my friend. Click and drag. That's it. And then on the sides over here, you click and drag these, it will scrunch or stretch it. I would agree with that, Burger. I would agree with that. Trading is more intense than a lot of things. So that is why it is hard to get control of your heart rate and things like that. Mark, one thing I found too, I just discovered this like 2 days ago. Yes, you can use control drag to go up and down, but you can also right click to go up and down. So you don't even have to hit control. Left click for left and right, or right click for all directions. Boom, that blew my mind. I discovered it accidentally. Yes, Thiago, absolutely. If you guys are nervous when you enter trades, I would say about 98% of the problem is that you're sized too big. If you were sized appropriately, I promise you it will help. Imagine if you were only risking $1 to take a trade. Would you feel any emotions? I don't think so. Yeah, if you are nervous at all when you enter a trade, just plain and simple, you have too much size on. You need to size down till you can take a trade as if it was nothing, as if it was simulated. Jules, the tick chart, pretty popular, used in price action trading, but it has a lot more detail than a time-based chart because each candle is dependent on the number of orders coming through, not just a fixed amount of time. So there's a lot more detail you can see. That's why I prefer them. Oh dang, Wilson, you're nervous even when you're on sim. I don't know what to do about that. I don't know your solution there. Yeah, Toad, it's very true actually. People who, I don't know if you guys study personalities at all, like, Myers-Briggs, but people who are very highly influenced by feelings and emotions when it comes to decision making struggle in trading because, yeah, for obvious reasons. So yeah, if you know your personality and you are a very feelings-based decision maker, it can make it really challenging to try to detach yourself emotionally from what happens in the market. Spartan Tom, the tick size for gold. It's been a while. I think, I don't know, what I do, a good rule of thumb, because there's no magic number for tick charts, right? There's no holy grail tick chart number. So what I would do is, because I like the 2000 tick chart on the S&P, I would put that up, right? You get your 2000 tick chart here on the S&P, and then put up a chart of gold next to it, and then adjust the ticks on gold until it looks more or less like this, until it has like the same number of bars as this, and that's probably a good number. Yep, possible second entry, but we had a green doji bar here above the EMA, so couldn't take that. For good luck, use the date you were born as your tick number. On the S&P, I think that would work out pretty well for most of us. Great price action today, for sure. Yep, totally agree. And the Nasdaq keeps going down, so I think my adjusted channel is the way to go. Still consider a short here. It sets up. Jesse, that is a good point in regards to emotions. Even if you are feeling emotions, you know, you're not going to be able to completely get rid of those. You also just have to be able to learn to just sit with your emotions. Like, just let them be. Don't let it affect your decisions. But, you know, if I put on a trade, let's say I put on a trade right here, and my analysis says, okay, I'm going to enter right here, my stop's right here, and my target's right here. If I can put that trade on and let it play out, it kind of doesn't matter what I'm feeling about it, right? I could just be like nervous and shaking and whatever, but if I stick to the plan, then it's the same result as if I was completely cool and collected, you know, as long as the decision is the same, you know, as long as I made the decision rightly in either case. So yeah, sometimes you just have to learn to sit with your emotions. Like, put on a trade, maybe you're feeling all sorts of crazy stuff, but just let it be, and don't let that affect your decisions. Just sit with those emotions and deal with it. I mean, that's totally fine too. You know, maybe you're someone who can't get rid of those emotions, and that's okay as long as they don't affect your decision making. It's not fun, I'll tell you that. It's not fun for sure, but that just may be the hand you were dealt. Also played speed metal. Can't go wrong with that. You might take a few aggressive entries with speed metal, but hey, at least you'll be pumped up. Or just play Pac-Man. Tom has the channel drawn steeper. Let's see if we can match that. It kind of doesn't matter, you know, when you have this kind of movement, the channel is not as important. You know, you want to sell. That's the moral of the story. Yeah, this is the channel I like for sure, but we're just looking to sell. That's the #1 priority. Oh, hey, we filled that gap on the Nasdaq, by the way. That's from June 12th. That gap has been on the chart for a month and a half. Finally filled it. That's why it is important to put those gaps, because you know market's probably going to come back there. And now we're consolidating right at that gap fill. Burger, good question. Does this price action influence my preference for a signal bar? Yes, I'd be willing to take a setup with the less than perfect signal bar because the trend is so strong. However, trend may be weakening. Nasdaq coming right off that gap fill, tempting to go above the EMA. We got a really good signal bar here. I might have to take this short. No, not strong enough for me. It may work, but I don't want to risk it. And Griffin, yes, we may get a reversal soon, but please, 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 please do not try to trade that. Don't try to anticipate it. No one should be getting long here. I'm not saying that's what you're saying, but that's just a reminder to me. Yes, continuing down. Alright, if the Nasdaq puts in a nice lower high here, probably have to join it. Don't be out here catching knives. Exactly, Daryl. There's no way it can go any lower. There's just no way. Market will show you. They'll say, oh yeah, really? Says who? Alright, new high, or rather a higher high on the Nasdaq, so I am pausing on the shorts there, and again, we're coming right off that gap fill, so it would make a lot of sense for us to start to work higher here. The Nasdaq did have a nice bear candle back below the EMA. A good lower high might entice me to jump in. Nope, looks like we're going to be making a new low. Woo, the Nasdaq dropping heavily. Yes, continuing lower. There was a second entry short. I wasn't really looking here, but there was a setup. With how strong this market is. Here it is right here. Pullback, first entry, pullback, second entry. We are touching the EMA. Nice bearish bar. I was watching the Nasdaq at the time, but yeah, if you were watching the S&P, that was a pretty good setup. And it wouldn't be perfect on any other day, but with how strong this trend is, take that for sure. Good, Daryl. I'm glad you got that one. I forgot to reload my chart too, so I'm gonna do that. Yeah, it is nice to see a strong trend. I agree, Jesse. I'm still reloading my S&P chart. I'm going to be really upset if I go back and there's just a super obvious trade with a reloaded chart. Alright, cool. My S&P chart looks about the same, so that's good. Let's see where we're at on the daily chart here. Good call out, Griffin. Yeah, we're like right at all that support on the daily. If we get through this, I mean, it's really gonna drop, but this would make a lot of sense for us to form a base around here. And maybe form a head and shoulders. So here's a shoulder. Head could bounce up here, form another shoulder, and then go down. And where is that June gap? We're still quite a ways away from that June gap, but it is down there. Yeah, Toad, he was probably not anatomically proportional. I do what I can, you know? I try my best out there. It's not always great, but I try. Okay, here we're getting a pullback, and this is stronger than the other pullbacks that we've had, so just be careful. We are above the EMA. But yeah, still interested in a second entry short here if it sets up, so I will be watching that closely. On the Nasdaq, we may have already had a break and a new low right here, so I'm not quite as interested in a short there. I can't really draw this channel any different without, you know, just completely starting lower. That looks decent, but then I'm cutting out a bunch of price action, so yeah, right now I'm playing the break and the new low on the Nasdaq. Be more interested in an S&P short. We have the first entry right there. Let's see one more move up and then a bearish bar. Come on, baby. Pull back for us. This is our chance, ladies and gentlemen. Don't want to see that close above the EMA like it just did. Let's see how the next bar looks. Nasdaq looks like it wants to pop up. We might get a larger correction here. This bar would have to turn around really strongly for me to consider it. I think more likely we're in for a bigger correction. Yes, 3 bar closes above the EMA. Not a good sign for us. There technically is our second entry. Move up, first entry, second move up, second entry, occurring below a green bar. We can't take that, but with a nice lower high, I'll join. See if it gives us that chance. If we make a higher high here, forget about it. I'm just going to abandon the idea. This is our first break of this channel too, so with a big trend, sometimes there can be big corrections. Keep that in mind. We've gone down for a long time. We could correct up to here and it would still be a good downtrend. That lower high closed above the EMA. We'll have to wait for a failed second entry long now. Really hope this gives us another entry and doesn't just rocket down to a new low. I'm also interested in a lower high on the Nasdaq too, if it shows up. A little bit less good of a setup, again, because we have this break and new low of the channel. Come on, ES, give us that lower high. Should also be a failed second entry long. Just need one tick higher. One tick higher and then turn around as a bearish bar. I have a sinking feeling that it is not going to give us the setup we need. Shoot. No lower high. Yep, not happening, ladies and gentlemen. Bummer. I mean, I guess it still could. We still could come up to the EMA again and get a lower high, but we were just like a point away from a new low. While the Nasdaq putting in another little consolidation. Now we're pushing strongly above the EMA. All right, well, we got a higher low double bottom here on the S&P. Low, higher low, higher high. These are consistent higher highs, so this is the kind of scenario when we maybe start forming a base and slowly drifting our way up. Toad, I know personally I've really switched over to liking the 250k. I had never even considered purchasing the 250k eval until it was put on sale by Apex. Yeah, I never even considered trying it, but I really like it because it works pretty well for my eval passing strategy, and then you have so much cushion. What is it, 6,500 of cushion, which I think is great, so you can really not sweat the trades. Yeah, and it's a little, to me, it's a little bit better than the 300k eval, because the 300k, the profit target to pass is super high, so it can take a while. It can take a while, and it's kind of difficult on the eval passing strategy because the target's so high. So the 250k is still doable, and then yeah, again, you get that cushion. So that's where I've landed for sure. That's my account of choice. And they're still 40 bucks for another, what is it? Another couple days, another few days until the 30th. Mike Z, my favorite eval passing strategy. I actually have a video on that on my YouTube channel, so feel free to go check that out. That is how I prefer to pass evals. Quick and easy, just do it in one trade. We still need a new low, so I am watching this closely. See if we can get a failed second entry long. And because of the higher highs and higher lows, I will need 2 attempts higher, a full failed second entry instead of just a lower high. Even though this lower high might look really tempting. When the market is putting in higher highs and higher lows, you got to be cautious of shorting until you have a lot of confirmation. On asking, would I run my passing strategy on the upcoming NFP port? I haven't even heard of that, so probably not. Oh, sorry, you're talking non-farm employment. Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's a pretty viable news release. But before that is the FOMC statement. I think that's going to be probably a little better. All right, here's the chance for the failed second entry long. Nope, green bar. Can't take it. Looks like that failed second entry is going to work anyway, even though it was a green bar. But I still, yeah, no regrets not taking that one. We haven't made a new low though yet, so we pull back and get one more chance to enter, it's still viable. Well, we have a new low now, guys. Really no way to get in on that trade. Diego, sorry I missed your question. Any tips about the 30% rule? So for those unaware, hold on, sorry. I had to check something. Yeah, so Diego's asking about the 30% rule. For those unaware, in order to get a payout, your biggest trading day cannot be more than 30% of your total profits. That's not a hard and fast rule. If you're just trading your system and you, for whatever reason, just have a really big trade that runs forever and you're following your system, they're not going to fault you for that. But they're just trying to protect against, you know, people gambling on a big windfall trade and then requesting a payout. So anyway, if you have a big day, no worries. Just keep trading as normal. Make sure you document it. So that if your payout is denied, you can simply show that, no, this was just a regular part of my strategy, and that should be plenty to get you approved. Steve asking, is there a better choice, Rhythmic or Trade-Evate? There's no better or worse. It just depends on what platform you have. If you have Trade-Evate, then select Trade-Evate. If you have NinjaTrader, select Rhythmic. Yeah, there's no better or worse. I use NinjaTrader, so therefore I select Rhythmic. I've never used TradeVate. I don't know what it's like. I really like NinjaTrader, so yeah. Hey, Matt. What's up, man? Has been a while. I was I was in your neck of the woods the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, that Matt from YouTube lives around here somewhere. So anyway, man, good to see you. Thanks for dropping in. No, you're good, Steve. You're good. All those kind of questions, like Apex's FAQ is very thorough for all those kind of questions, so I would encourage you to do some digging there. Yeah, man, reach out to me on Twitter or something. That'd be cool. Yeah, Steve, just check out the FAQ. And all of your questions, all of life's questions will be answered. Ninja can use either? What? Mark, you're blowing up my world right now. I'm pretty sure Ninja cannot use a TradeVate data connection. I don't know for sure. So if you know that for a fact, then great. That was what I had thought. Later, Jeff. Later. Hey, Ed. Good morning. I am going to adjust my channel here on the Nasdaq because we are continuing to go down. It doesn't seem like the breaking new low did anything, so we'll adjust the channel a little bit. And again, like I've said, the channel doesn't quite matter as much on these kind of days. You're just looking for an opportunity to short. All right, cool guys. Thank you for correcting me there. Okay, so you can use TradeVate with NinjaTrader. Yeah, one reason that it doesn't matter to me is because I have a personal NinjaTrader account, so that's where my data comes from. It doesn't even really come from Rhythmic. If you have a personal account with NinjaTrader, it will favor that connection, and I never have problems with it. So, yeah, that is another plug too. If you do use NinjaTrader, you might want to look into creating your personal account, and then you can avoid some of the Rhythmic issues and stuff. But anywho, guys, we have a new low on the S&P. I am going to be pausing, looking for setups for a little bit. I think we are due for somewhat of a correction. You know, now is not the time to take a trade after we've already moved down, had to break new low. This thing's been running for a long time, so yeah, sticking to the short side for sure. I want to see a bullish correction play out, and then we can look for shorts again. And yeah, I'll be over in the Discord sniping those setups the rest of the day. Look forward to seeing many of you over there. Link is below if you want to consider joining. Yeah, another week for that Apex sale. Make sure you take advantage of that, and that's all I got today, guys. Thanks for hanging out. It was nice to snag that trade with you guys earlier, and on a day like today, there hopefully should be some more setups coming down the line. So peace. Take care, everybody.